All right. Hello, everybody. My name is J.R. Lutz. I'm a student at the University of Minnesota. And today I'm going to be talking about NIL deals, why I think that they're a good thing, what they are, kind of, and why I think we should continue them. But also, I will talk about a little bit of changes I would make with the current NIL system. So, I would like to start out by pointing out that college football, college basketball, all these big athletic sports, college athletics, they are multi-billion-dollar industries. They are making well over like $10 billion. That's more than the MLB, NHL, I believe NBA. So they are not short on money. And why is it fair that all of these athletes are putting in the work? They're the only reason that the industry itself can survive, yet they don't get to see any of that money. Because if you take the athletes out of the game, no industry. If you take the industry out of the game, you still have the game. Still, people will want to kind of come and watch it. Might not be able to broadcast it as well as they do now, but I mean, they still have an industry. People will still pay money to see it. So that's one injustice, kind of. It's unfair that they're putting in the work. They're risking their bodies. Like, injuries is a big risk for them. They are possibly throwing away future abilities. Like, you could end up paralyzed after any game. You could break a leg. You couldn't do stuff for a year after that. Like, you are putting so much of your health on the line for so much hard work, and you get nothing from it. You're playing for free, which is just unfair. Next thing that I would like to point out is that athletes, they are student athletes, so they have not only academic responsibilities, and college is hard for everyone. Like, I'm a college student. I can speak to it. I'm just barely getting by right now, and I don't have to worry about athletics as well. Because these athletes, they have to do, like, football players have to do an extra 5 to 8 hours of just physical and mental labor, which is crazy to me. I don't know how they get their homework done. I don't know how they can mentally do it, because they get no free time, just absolutely none. So I don't know how it's possible for them to, like, mentally be able to keep continuing on. They don't get sleep because they get home at like 9. They got to do homework, and then they got to get up at 6 again to do workouts and stuff. So just another example of them putting in so much work. Um, as I've mentioned before, they are risking their bodies. That's another thing I want to point out. Like, that's if you get injured doing what, like, you're something for a job, you get money from that at least. But they're not getting money. They don't get money at all. And this can also lead to some serious mental health disorders. We're kind of removing the stigma of mental health. College athletes and athletes in general are kind of more comfortable talking about their mental health struggles right now. So we're starting to see more and more that these athletes are not actually capable of handling the stresses and stuff alone right now. Like, depression is a super big issue right now with college athletics. And all because their schedules are so tight. They've got to do so much work, and they get no time for fun. They get no time for fun. Everything is taken away from them pretty much, all their free time, and they're still not getting paid from it. So that's not good. Um Also, if you're a college athlete, because of all your tight schedule, you're not physically able to get a job. An average college student's probably getting like 4 to 8 hours of free time to themselves, which they can fill with things like either just hanging out with friends or by getting a job. And with the opportunity to get a job, you can make your money. But these athletes, because they have so much, like, extra extra stuff they got to do to be a college athlete, they just have no opportunity to get a job. So that can leave them financially, like, kind of screwed over in the end, because while everyone else had all the time in the world to kind of accumulate money, they are stuck with nothing. They put in all this work for nothing, and now they don't have a job, and they're probably not going to make the like NFL or anything because it's super hard to get into that. I believe only 1% of college athletes make it to the NFL or college football players. So if you're not one of the 1%, you're just kind of left out to dry. Um, the biggest counter argument that most like anti NIL deals, they'll kind of bring up how they believe that they are already receiving financial compensation and payment through the scholarship that they are acquiring. But that's just not true. I have a source that says that not only is the scholarships not fully there to like pay for everything, they have an average of $2,000 that they have to pay annually still. It also removes their ability to have money for recreation and stuff, which they'll not be able to have any fun again. Like they're just living robotic lives at that point. And finally, I want to kind of go over some changes I would make with NIL. So right now, NIL deals are dominated by like social media stars or just football and basketball players, but I just don't think that's kind of what's best for the sport. If I could change it, I would kind of rather than having the most marketable on social media, like I would change it from that to just in general giving the most popular or the best players the kind of best money. And that's not just like best players for biggest sports. I'd like to focus on like evenly dispersing the wealth. Like I want like give me the women's diving. I want them to be making not necessarily even cuz nobody's really watching diving or stuff like that, but like at least somewhat similar money to like the best player of women's diving. I want them to earn comparable amounts to like the best basketball or best baseball player, so they're not left to like dry. Because right now, if you look at the top 10 most like profiting from NIL deals, you'll see that it's mostly like social media superstars, but you'll see that there's noticeably only like one woman. Even in like the top 50, there's only one woman. And that's Olivia Dunn, who's only there because she's like a social media superstar. Because nobody really pays attention to gymnastics other than her. I don't know. She could be really good at gymnastics. I don't really watch it. But she's making all this money, and she's the only woman to do it when you've got superstars coming out of stuff like the women's basketball, like Paige Beckers isn't there. Caitlin Clark, I believe, was close, not close to like Travis Hunter right now, but she was at least making a little money. But we need to kind of make it more accessible to other groups just rather than men's basketball and football players. And this sort of disparity also creates like some tension in the locker rooms, especially with like women athletes, because it could lead to jealousy if you're like one of the few women who are actually getting paid for doing their job. Like that could lead to jealousy from the other teammates. They might not pass the ball. They might like just give her the silent treatment, stuff like that. It can really affect a team's like locker room. So if I feel like there's no reason why giving more money to athletes who don't receive money for what they're doing is a bad thing. Like the industries have more than enough money to kind of get this done, but they're just refusing to do it. So yeah, that's kind of like my rough cut. I did this all in one take. Obviously, for my real one, I'm gonna have another person in it, as well as I'm going to actually like edit out all the mumbles and like if I repeat myself or something, I'm gonna take that out. But this is just kind of my basic outline for what I'm gonna be talking about. It's kind of the arguments I'll use to debunk my other guys' kind of arguments. So once I film that, I will turn it in, edit it, stuff like that. But that's what I got for right now. So thanks for listening, I guess. Peace.